As listed and recorded in the Table of Nations of Genesis chapter 10, Ham is the father of Cush, Mizraim, Put, and Canaan. So when Ham gave birth to these sons and bore them in the earth, Ham was already therein lodged in the house of Noah. He is not belonging unto the house of Noah. He belongs unto the house of Cain. Cain is his blood right, and both his nobility, his body, his breath, his manlyhood. But during the time of the 17th century, mankind began to degrade the name of Ham and the privileges and esteem of Ham in order to sell it unto a neighbor who was lower than himself, named Japheth, and to give it all unto him, Japheth being a nigger and a slave. They meant to give it to him so that Ham would become less and Japheth more. This was increasing unto the neck of that swine. And as miserable as it was for Ham to believe that he was white by birth, white meaning dark, this was outrageous and so blasphemous to his courteous impertinence and his beauty and his elegance, and it was contrary to his methodology and approach, which was to carry thyself gallantly and to know no man, and also to know not thy neighbor and to know not thy friend, and to be a gentleman. Such was the likes of Ham, and to believe in his own heart that he was being blasphemed was beyond the truth. But to believe in his mind that he had suffered from what I would like to call debility. It was insane for him to understand that whites were becoming superior to blacks in intellect, knowledge, and power. And it became such an insult unto his house that he rose up and said, "I am a Canaanite," and said, "None shall stand before me but the Canaanites." Amen. And to believe that he was white by birth in the normal chronological definition was an absolute absurdity to him, as everything in his eyes were contrariness and blasphemous and adjudications to his theorems. One day he decided to visit the temple in Athens. Blown away, Ham decides that intellect and reason are normal, but of course Europe is still a sludge pot. Assault Ham, Khem Zarathustra, the son of Tubal-Cain, the lineage of the Cainites, and of the oldest patronymic house, all this earth, when it was created in Eden. That was the house of Cain. Cain was born from Satan and Eve, and he was their offspring. He was also a Nephilim. He bore the Cainites. Then Adam and Eve bore Abel and Seth. This is the lineage, the true lineage, the house of Adam and Eve, beginning of earth to the end of time. And because of this blasphemous outrage, everyone in the kingdom of heaven and earth belonging unto the house of Cain were absolutely insulted at the fact that those who are lower than themselves are calling themselves higher than Ham and higher than a Canaanite by blood. Out of the meaning of sheer ignorance, the Japhethites claimed white skin as a fictitious idea of superiority in their own minds. And they claimed that black was soot in their own minds also, which is blasphemy, friend. And this whole idea that they knew what they knew not was an idea that they could become something themselves. All for the fact that they were sheerly embarrassed, piss drunk and embarrassed with themselves for being dark-skinned, the Abelites. They came second, and then the Sethites. The Cainites were first, lineage, heroism. They were also the descendants of a Nephilim named Cain, and they were also the grandchildren and great-grandchildren of a man named Satan. He is the Lord Satan of the Bible. He is also refuge and an accuser. He, Satan, or Sataniel, was the son of Lord Jehovah, who is the King of heaven and earth. Amen.